Summer Fox webinar. My name is Andrei, and today we have amazing expert in monetization, Vahe, with a very interesting topic, retention strategy for Web2App. It's quite new topic for us because recently we covered mostly user acquisition part and web onboarding part, and today we will talk about like win-back strategies and retention strategies for web funnels, which is cool. Hi, Wahi, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, Andre, and thanks for the invite.
Yeah, very excited to have you.
Yeah.
We'll wait a couple of minutes while
Chat is
people
active.
join.
People are putting comments.
Say again, this?
I see the chat is active. People are putting comments.
Yeah. So yeah, let's find out what the audience will get now. Guys, can you please drop your occupation? What do you do? Usually we get a lot of user acquisition managers. Just curious.
Maybe we have more like product managers or growth people today.
Yeah. Just type in the chat. What do you do, guys?
Retention and CRM.
Oh, retention. Yeah.
Product manager. That's good. Web product manager. Growth product manager.
Okay, we have 35 people.
55?
Wait, 35, 36. And counting.
Product managers. Yeah,
product managers. Yeah.
This is different from the user acquisition.
Yeah. It's basically usually it's on product manager side. Yeah, this activities one related to retention and win-back campaigns. Okay, guys, I think we have 40 people, and I think we can start. We will have 20 minutes for slides and for talking with Vahe, and 40 minutes for Q&A. So please drop your questions in chat, and we'll cover them to slides. Okay, here we go. Vahe, you can start.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, maybe for starting, just a short intro about me. So once again, welcome everyone. My name is Vahe Bagdasaryan. I work for Flow Health right now, where I'm focused on the lifecycle marketing and the monetization. Before, I've been working in the subscription app growth industry for 5-6 years now. Did a lot of consulting with many kind of big apps, and also mainly worked on monetization and subscription growth kind of areas. And today's presentation, we will try. I mean, Web2App is like a pretty hot topic nowadays, but like mostly we look at it in a user acquisition kind of perspective. But then, like in today's webinar, we'll try to show the other side of Web2App and how you can use it to like improve your retention, subscriber LTV, etc. So yeah, I guess let's get started with agenda. We'll talk about like Web2App advantages, retention strategies, and then we'll go through kind of some specific strategies that you can implement in your Web2App flows to improve your retention rates and also the subscriber LTV. So Web2Apps, they give more space for retention campaigns because they have they are very flexible, and they can allow you to do personalized cancellation flows. What it means, like you have a lot of data that you are collecting from users during the onboarding that you can use in like to reshape their experience when they are in checkout or they lapsed. You can use the information to retarget them with email flows, etc. But one of the other important thing here is like you have more like flexibility on your cancellation flow, because like in mobile space, there's like a lot of things that you cannot do, but here it's like it's very easy and possible to do when you don't have like App Store kind of guidelines and other kind of sort of like regulations. Another important thing is like to have progressive win back campaigns, progressive discounts. We will talk about this in a second. And we'll also talk about like importance of web push notifications, retargeting through ads, and targeting with email specific like email campaigns. So let's get started with a talk about like cancellation flows. The cancellation flows are very important then, but if when you look at the most of the subscription apps, it doesn't matter on mobile or web, they don't have it, or most of them that don't have it. There are some that have it, but like cancellation flows, they become very important because it's a great opportunity to jump into the user experience and to the users when they're trying to cancel and convince them otherwise. There are like two important things here that you can do. Like firstly, if you have a mobile subscriber and then they subscribed on web and then they're using the mobile app, if you when they're trying to cancel their subscription, you take them to web, and because their initial subscription comes from the web, and then you can create instead of just taking them to the PayPal or Stripe and asking them to kind of and letting them to cancel their subscription, there are like many things that you can do here. The first one is just to understand like why they're canceling their subscription, understanding like some pain points with the products or the things that they didn't like and that experience brought them to the cancellation page, and also try to give them kind of a like discounts or some alternative options to stay without canceling. There are like a few things that I consider that are like very helpful in this scenario. If the user is complaining about a bug or some sort of situation that they didn't kind of couldn't find something, you can uh, immediately like connect them with a kind of support agent if you have on web, or like allow them to send like immediately like a support email within the kind of the cancellation flow and say, okay, don't cancel, we hear your problem, our support agent will get back to you kind of as soon as possible. There are two other important things that is also very kind of useful. The first one, asking user to pause the subscription without instead of canceling. In one of my previous companies, we implemented this web cancellation flow uh, where we ask users to instead of canceling their subscription, to pause, and we noticed like a lot of uplift there where there are many users that were like decided to pause the subscription for like 2 months or 3 months instead of canceling, and they would take the break, and after the pause period, the subscription will continue without canceling. Or if the user decided to cancel it, like you could offer them discounts, or if they are in like on annual plan, ask them to switch to monthly plan to save money, etc., etc. There are like a lot of like real estate on web to play with and ask users to uh, to switch something or get a discount instead of canceling. Someone else.
What's the best strategy here to show what the option should be first?
The
Pause.
first one, the way I create this is like the first one is like if there is some technical issue or there's like something they're trying to find a product they didn't, we would trigger intercom kind of message immediately from the web cancellation flow and ask them, hey, we have a live support agent, you can talk and like clarify your problem. If that's not the case, the first thing you should do, ask them to pause their subscription. It's like for like 2 months, 3 months, etc. It's like, okay, we get it. Instead of what if instead of like canceling it, let's pause it. Maybe you will change your mind in like 90 days or something. If they skip it, you can offer them a discount, or you can offer them to switch from expensive plan to like much cheaper plan. If you have like an annual subscription and user are subscribed to it, you can offer them to switch to kind of weekly, or if you have or monthlies, and also highlight, okay, if you switch, you're gonna save this percentage of money or this amount of money.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So don't jump in immediately. Yeah, let's give this guys a discount. Maybe you can get them to stay in other ways and then give a discount. And yeah, this is just an example of another kind of cancellation flow. This is from Noom, and yeah, this is just offering users a discount when they are kind of canceling their subscription. Basically, like what I kind of described a minute ago. And then, as I mentioned, like you can have multiple offers. Like depends on how user answers to the questions. Like you can personalize the offer that they are getting, and if they are like, for example, imagine like you ask users why you're canceling your subscription. There's an option that says, "Oh, it's too expensive." For this kind of users, you could offer like a higher discount. For users who don't think it is expensive, but there's some other reason, you can offer them potentially like a lower amount of discount and test like which one converts better. Moving forward, there's another kind of a good approach here with a it's called like progressive discount strategy, and it is not only about like giving user discount on the Web2 app, but also but it's mostly about for the users who lapse. So user goes through your Web2 app like onboarding flow, and they sign up, they provide you their email, and then they end up not subscribing. So you lost them on a checkout, but you have one important thing from them, which is the email, and you can start to kind of send them a like cycle marketing campaign focuses on getting them to resubscribe. I mean, come back and subscribe and continue their journey. And one of the kind of uh, please zoom in. I'm not sure how to zoom in actually. Wait,
It's too small, yeah.
is it bigger now or? Uh, Not sure if it allows to zoom in, but anyways, I mean, we're gonna have the slides afterwards, right? So if anyone
We'll
misses
send the
something,
recording and send the slides.
Mhm.
Videos will be sent
Yeah,
email.
yeah. So apologize for this. Not sure if there is a way to zoom in. This seems or how about now? It's better.
Yeah, probably you can switch off slide mode and open it in Google Slides.
Yeah, it's in Google Slides.
Oh, I mean that turn off the sliding mode and just
Oh, it's the slide mode is on.
yeah, you can switch it off and try to
Wait,
share it. Oh,
wait. Let
it's
me
too big
stop
now.
sharing and share again. Wait a second.
Yeah. Sorry guys, a couple of minutes we'll fix it.
Let me share my screen again. Is this better?
No, I think it's still small.
It's yeah, I think this is it.
Okay, guys, we'll send materials.
Yeah, we'll have the slides available after the kind of the presentation. So, uh, but yeah, let's get back to the progressive discount strategy. Like what it means, like when user kind of lapses from your Web2 app flow from the onboarding, what most of the apps do, they start to throw out like a big discounts to the users, but they don't know like what kind of discount converts best, and maybe they are cannibalizing their revenue by giving like a bigger discount to users who would convert with a lower amount of discount. So it's better kind of to start to test with a different to test like different discount percentages, and start maybe with a lower amount of discount and see how many users it converts, and then you know step by step increase the amount of discount that you are giving to users. uh, Yeah, and there are also very important thing here. I don't know, like if it's visible on the slides, but it's gonna be available. So it's also good to measure like how your, let's say, email open rate is changing over the time, or user retention rate is changing over the time. Because if you see there like you are going to lose a lot of users, it's better to maybe start with a higher amount of discounts and then gradually increase it than from very low and to increase it like up to, I don't know, like 60-70%. Because if you do that, uh, you are going kind of to lose people because they will stop opening your email. So before kind of when you send your first email or second email, just kind of test and see uh, like how many users are opening or interacting with your emails, and then yeah, and then figure out what is kind of the best approach here. Uh, Another kind of option here is like using ML models. This is kind of a, if it only the case applicable case if you have a lot of data, you can calculate what is your users propensity to pay score, like how likely are these users to convert it to paid users, or how like what is the amount of discount that if we give to these users they will be more likely to pay. But again, this is proven thing. This can work. There are like many apps are doing this, but the kind of a downside of this is you cannot do if you're like a small app or you don't have enough data. So the best one is like to just go with a have different kind of discount flows and try to test different kind of a progressive discount approaches to see like which one converts better and gives you the higher amount of revenue.
Do you have any like benchmarks? What discount you should start from, and how to find the optimal
Yeah.
without email?
So,
Like,
mhm. Yeah, so for the health and fitness apps, it's usually good to start with maybe like a 40%-ish discounts, because the retention rate of the like health and fitness users are pretty kind of low. I mean, you have a pretty good kind of subscription start rate or trial start rate, et cetera, et cetera. But then uh, kind of the cancellations are a lot. So, and if they don't subscribe, it's hard to get them back. So, and the retention is also very low. So, if this is the case, usually like a 40% ish is the kind of best to approach to start with. Uh, so, going forward, we have cart abandonment. This is one of my kind of favorite and successful strategies that I did a lot. I talked about this a lot. So how like most of us, when we wanted to buy something online, like in e-commerce, we go, we put it in our cart, and when we don't check out, they will follow up with us emails and notifications says, hey, you forgot something on your cart. This is something that e-commerce has been doing for many years, but subscription apps, they don't do it. So when somebody, this in the description, so in the screenshot, the example is from a mobile app, but you can do the same from for the Web2App flows, when some even users go, they fill in their credit card details, or they activate the Apple Pay or Google Pay to make the purchase, but then at the last minute they cancel it. Don't leave these guys to go, or don't follow up for with only like generic emails and discounts, etc. Just acknowledge at that moment why you are sending them this notification or this email. Like, hey, you abandoned your transaction. You were about to buy, you didn't do it. Go continue your transaction. Try to nudge them to go back and continue your transaction. And you even can create a deep link to redirect them to the point where they actually kind of dropped out. Or and if it's not kind of a, and then for the users who again lapse, try to kind of give them discounts to incentivize them further to go and continue their transaction. This example, this is a case study that I did for a mobile app, and we implemented like cart abandonment strategy, and where we redirected user, when we targeted users, redirected back to the app and give them a discount or ask them to continue their transaction without a discount. And it ended up bringing like a 64% reduction in cart abandonment rate, and then like a 10% increase in the new revenue. So this is kind of
10%. Yeah,
yeah,
this is right. You can save 10% of revenue.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
so this is this, if you don't have it, you gotta like implement this, right? It's very important. um Yeah, and then let's also talk about like win-back strategies and win-back campaigns. This is for the users, I mean, who already kind of paid for your product, and then or they took a trial. There are like many Web2App flows who offer like trials, like pay $1, get like 30-day free access, something like this. There are like many offers, and you are ending up having like a lot of users who are in a win-back stage. What it means is that like they somehow experience the value of your premium offering, but they never kind of continued with their subscription, or they bought but then they canceled it. We usually divide these users into 4 segments. It depends if you are a freemium app or not. If you are not a freemium app, you're gonna have like 2 segments: users who subscribe but then canceled, but their subscription is still active, and users whose subscription is expired. You can have also the same for trial users who took a trial but then canceled it, but it's still active, and users who had a trial and it's expired. So one of the best thing about like uh, Web2 kind of app flows is like, and if you have also is like your user subscription is not on App Store, it's on Stripe or it's on any other payment provider you are using. So if it's a very kind of a, and if you can get these users to go and renew their subscription, uh, and this is kind of, you have a like a higher like a retention rate on the subscribers. And then if you could get these users who cancel their subscription on web and they're still using your product to go back and renew, uh, you can offer them like a cheaper subscription to kind of to renew, and you are not going to have issues with refunds. For example, for the App Store, if user has an active subscription but they canceled it, if you ask them to kind of buy a new subscription to keep their subscription kind of the renewal state active, in most of the cases App Store is going to refund them money um, for the remaining part of your subscription. On a web, it's like much more kind of easier. You can engineer it in a way that users will not get refunded, but the new amount will be added to their existing days of the subscription. So you will just extend users kind of a subscription period without actually kind of refunding them money. So you will end up having like kind of a higher LTV, and you have kind of uh, a lot of room to play with the emails. Again, like when user subscription is about to expire, to start to send them like CR lifecycle marketing campaign like 7 days before expiry, offer them with different offers and discounts, and then redirect them to the web flow where they will renew their subscription and keep it. So you gotta kind of divide these users, depends on your freemium or not, divide your kind of a win back state users into these 2 or 4 segments and start to work on them like independently. And this slide, I know this is like the font size is probably very, very kind of small, but then we will share this kind of presentation afterwards. And this shows you like how to deal with a different, with the users who are in a different stages in their like win back journey, like when to offer discount, what kind of this kind of promo offers to offer, etc., etc. Because like discount is just one type of a promo offer. You can offer users to extend their trials or give them a second trial. You can do like a pay $1 and get a like 30-day more access. There are like a lot of things that you can do. Switch from yearly to kind of quarterly plans or monthly plans to save money. Uh, so it is but then these 4 segments that I mentioned, each of them have a kind of a different, they have different intent, they have different backgrounds, and then you need to tailor uh, your win back strategy in a way that kind of matches with this user's expectations. Like if somebody took a trial, they never paid for it and the trial is expired, probably if you go and say, hey, you want to buy, might be that is not going to be very effective, rather than if you offer them, let's try this again for free. What if we give you like 2 more weeks of free trial or 1 more month of free trial? Try to get them back to the flow, and then use this extra time that you're giving them to convince that there is a value in your product, and then they need to keep the subscription when the trial ends. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess this is all.
based on your
Yeah.
experience, regarding the segments, what's the biggest segment in web funnels, and what's the most effective strategy for address these
Mhm.
segments?
Yeah, I mean, depends. There's like two things. That depends if you're how you are a freemium or not. So if you are, and if you are a new product or not. Why this is important? So if you are a new product, you don't have an established user base that could dictate that you will have a lot of expired subscriptions. So most of your traffic is coming in now, and if you have a free trial, you'll get like 1,000 people every day coming and taking trial and canceling. So it automatically kind of makes the trial expired segment or trial cancel segment the biggest one. So it's better kind of to focus on these two segments. But if you have a if you have a but if you don't have a kind of a freemium product and it's only paid, users need to pay to use it, and the subscription canceled users are going to be kind of your biggest priority and biggest segment
Yeah.
because of the sizes. The first thing is like, maybe we think like, oh, there is this segment whose revenue potential is very big, let's focus on this segment. Maybe that's true, but then if the size is too small, like if you have only like 1,000 people who have expired subscriptions, and if you manage to kind of get like 50% of them to resubscribe again, but just from the volume, it is not going to bring you as much revenue as you could have if you focus on subscription canceled users who are like 100K of them, and you will win back not 50 but like 10, 15, or 20% of them. But just because of the value volume, it is going to bring you much higher revenue.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we can switch to Q&A
Yeah, I
session.
guess I will stop my screen, and yeah, happy to answer
Yeah,
all
we
the
have a few questions from you guys. The first question from Jessica. How does the classic discount strategy look like? What are benchmarks like 30% discounts and 50% discounts
Mhm.
and 60%?
So
You can
it's hard
share.
to say like what should be your benchmark, because it also depends on what type of app you have, category, what is your retention rate. Just to generalize, to not generalize, let's bring the example on, let's say, like utility, health and fitness apps, who are somehow similar because of them having like low retention rates. So if your app have like a low retention rate, it is good to start with a higher discount. Let's say 40, 50%, and then make it 70, and like for the last one make it 80. Why? Because if you start with a like 20, 30, 40, 50, in this period you lose a lot of users because your retention is going to down very dramatically. So it's again the case, this is a kind of a play of volume. If you have a kind of a low volume, you are not gonna make kind of a more revenue. So if your retention rate is not very good, start with a kind of higher amount of discount, let's say like 50%, and then have like three different offers, which will increase the discount percentage by like 15 or 20%.
Yeah, thank you. I've seen interesting campaign from Noom. They communicated like 2 months free,
Mhm.
but basically it was like discount, and they
Yeah,
just
Noom
communicated
does
like
yeah.
yeah, you get this discount and it counts and just equals to 2 months free.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Noom is kind of is pretty smart in all of these offers that they are doing. They are kind of changing the narrative to, hey, 2 months for free or like 14 days for free, which is true.
Yeah,
But to get that, you need to kind of pay for like a 6 month subscription or 12 month subscription, which is, you could argue, oh, this is kind of this is not a maybe good practice, or so you are kind of confusing user, but you are
yeah,
actually kind of
sure.
getting more users to engage with your email. And if you can do that, it is going most probably to improve your kind of conversion rates, because you'll just get more users to open your email or go to your kind of a resubscription or subscription flow on web.
Yeah, makes sense. Speaking of emails, we have another question from Marina. Could you please share some benchmarks for email flows? Open rate, click rate, subscription rate. Have any numbers?
Yeah, I mean, usually you can try to, I mean, have at least like 20-30% email open rate on the first emails. Like 30-ish is good, and then it will depends like how many emails you will send or what is the health of your email list. It is going to go down, but like after a few emails, let's say like 3 to 5 emails, you can have around like 10% open rate. As for the click rate, it depends. I mean, it can go from like 1% to 5%, even low. But then it's you should try to have at least like a few like 1-2% like a click rate on your emails.
Yeah, cool. And Kirill asks, what's the approximate percentage of CRM revenue as percentage of total revenue?
Well, this is very kind of depends on the products, like this the answer. But from what I'm seeing across like different apps, it could be like if you really master it, it can be like 20-ish%, like 15 to 25, I'd say, of your total revenue. If you are really investing on CRM, if you just have like some random email going to say, "Hey, welcome to the app," that's yeah, it's 1%. Like, yeah, but if you
Yeah,
have all of these things set up, it can go from like 15 to 20%.
yeah. It also includes not only like win back campaigns. Yeah, just also use that just drop off the funnel
Yeah,
and
yeah.
didn't purchase subscription. Yeah, okay. Another question from Jessica.
Same for
Again,
offerings.
for offerings, yeah, what to test.
Few things. The first one, like discounts, it's a classic. And then you can test extended trial or second trial option for the users who are not committed that much. Like if you say there are users who have like expired trials, you can test discount versus giving them another trial to test the product and see like which one converts better. Most probably the additional trial will convert better, but then yeah, you gotta test. Other thing is like what Noom is doing is pretty good, like offering them 2 months free if you buy 6 month subscription, or 6 month free if you buy 12 month subscription. So these are like, I guess, like from my experience and what I saw, like one of the best kind of strategies that could work.
Yeah, thank you. Question from Andrei. Question about cancellation flow.
Mhm.
If we make it too complex, tricky, we might get into high percent of refunds disputes. On the other hand, we can just make cancel button in the app itself, but
Mhm.
it's too easy then. What's the best balance here?
Yeah, this is a very good question, actually, the refunds. I mean, you definitely don't want to over engineer your cancellation flow and use a lot of dark patterns. There is this famous uh, cancellation flow from Amazon that they did like several years ago, which was like full of, I mean, you can Google this up. It was like full of dark patterns and like confusing users. I think this is illegal to do right now. You don't definitely want to do it right now because of the refunds and everything. But then, but it's a very good example that you can take out a few things. Don't make users kind of too confused. Don't make users to feel confused, but then keep the structure. There are like 4 things that you can have, and it's most kind of effective to have in your cancellation flow. Asking user to contact customer support agent if you have one and you use intercom or any other tool. Second, ask them to pause the subscription, give them a discount, ask them to switch from one plan to another. So implement, like, if you don't have the customer support thing, just ignore it and implement these 3 things. It should be enough and not confusing enough to get like refunds, because like you are not tricking users to keep their subscription or something. You're just offering them some 3 alternative options instead of canceling. If they're happy with it, then they will keep the subscription. If not, they will just continue with canceling.
So just way to to find a fair deal with a user, not just trick them
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
subscription
yeah.
plan. Okay. Yeah. Okay, another question. Thanks for comprehensive overview. What's your take on web push notifications? Is there a thing? Do people give permission for them? Do they work? What's the revenue uplift behind
Mhm.
it?
Yeah. So web push notifications, it can like from my experience, it worked the best for the users who don't use Apple products. Like because there are some limitations that and they're not getting the web push notification on MacBooks. But then if the users are using Safari, sorry, the Chrome, and they enable notification, you can use them. But the thing is, the value of web push note, there is definitely value, but it's not as much as for the email, so not even comparable. So if you have a kind of a big amount of users coming in, you can enable like web push notifications and ask them to enable it as a part of your onboarding flow, let's say, and then retarget them with offers. But you can kind of think about it, maybe less than 1% of the users or around 1% of them will click on it, and let's say some 20% of them will convert afterwards. So it's about priorities. If you don't have a large amount of users coming in every day, better focus on email, nail your email strategy, get your deliverability rates high, email open rates high, optimize everything with email, get everything out of the email, and then focus on, oh, let's also explore this avenue. But if you don't have it yet, don't kind of put any efforts on web push notifications.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Another question from Dmitro. Do you use an opt-in flow or double opt-in flow? What's the conversion rates for email confirmation? I'm also interested in learning about your experience with push requests
Mhm.
and onboarding flow.
So double opt-in rate, I guess it's about like the email confirmation rate. So like asking user to confirm the email. I think I didn't use it, or I used only kind of once. So I'm definitely not sure what is like industry benchmark or something. Question is, do you need it or you don't need it? I don't know. It's like it depends on a product, I would say. If you're like a fintech, you probably need it. But if you are just a utility app and on like a health and fitness app, you probably don't need it, because actually there's a very, very kind of tiny percentage of users who actually put random emails and as their kind of email address, you know. So I feel like unless you really, really need it, or you have a data that you feel like, oh, users are faking their emails, one thing that can kind of nudge you that users are faking it, if you're sending emails, everything is okay, but your email deliverability rates are very low, or you are getting a lot of your emails are going to spam. If you are noticing these patterns and you believe your email is set up in right away, so you shouldn't have any issues with email deliverability because of technical issues, maybe this is the case, you can think about it. But like, I feel like unless you have a good reason to do it, why do it? Because you're adding like an additional friction to users.
Yeah, thank you.
And maybe that push notification on onboarding flow, I mean, I guess the question is about the mobile more. um, I mean, definitely you need to ask users for the notification permission and as soon as possible in the onboarding, because if user dropped off from your onboarding and they disable their notification, it is equal that user deleted your app, most probably. So there is no other way to get back to these users. So have it on your onboarding, have it kind of, I guess, like as soon as you can, but also like test it. And yeah, but that's definitely very important for consumer apps.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of the email campaigns, did you create your own email setup or leverage existing platform that allows you test campaigns based on action
Mhm.
points you mentioned during the meeting?
Yeah, this is I mean, I did both. They're like I worked with a other app, some apps that had email platforms, let's say Praise, Iterable, and we just send events or the user properties in, build the emails, and then send it to users when the certain event is triggered. And also kind of a work with apps that they didn't have any tools, but they built their in-house system to send all of this communication and trigger it. So it's like a matter of preferences and prioritization. But I believe if you are using just some third-party tools, or is way better, because like specifically for email, there are like many issues with email, like the deliverability rates, the spam rate, etc., etc. And if you want to build on your own and you do it on your own, it's gonna take a lot of time to just fix the technical things. But if you are getting started with a third party platform, and it cannot, I mean, you don't need to use like fancy tool at the start, just get something good that will allow you to trigger emails when a certain events are met or certain conditions are met, and A/B test. And then if you see there is like working for you, you can go and get like a better tools for you.
Can you recommend any tools like
I mean,
budget-wise from the beginning?
you can go with a, let's see, like Mailchimp is the maybe the cheapest one now. But if you are really kind of serious about CRM, you can look at Iterable or Braze. They're pretty good, and they allow you to have very sophisticated playground and do a lot of kind of complex text, and they generally allows you to leverage email at its best because they just offer too many tools and features.
Yeah, cool. I think we already covered the
Yeah.
Andrei's question. Yeah. Another question: what's the better, push or email?
Yeah, if it's a web push, then email. But it's
Yeah.
like if it's a mobile push, I don't know. I mean, it's like hard to say. It's like you gotta use both. It's not about giving preference to one, not the other one. It's like I feel like both are important. There is a kind of bias that say, oh, who opens the email, who uses email, right? It's still some people say that, but like if you really can get your email working, you will be surprised like how much revenue and a conversion you're able to drive from email. Email just a bit harder than push notifications. That's the thing. But if you can get it worked, I believe you will see very significant results that are driven by email.
There's a question from Alex: what percentage of total revenue comes from email campaigns? Already answered this question. Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
yeah. But again, I mean, my email, if you say like what percentage comes from email, that's very broad. Like if you are going to send just one or two emails, very low. If you're gonna have all the foundation set up, you're gonna iteratively like test and improve on what you have, it can go from like a 15, 20, 25%. So it really depends like what you have, just like and what you build. If just one email is not enough, like one or two campaigns here or there are not enough. You just need to build everything correctly and test all the kind of everything that we discussed today.
okay, thank you. A couple of questions from my side.
Sure.
I think it's there's a quite important question. What do you think how the new Californian regulations within like
For the
use?
cancellation clause.
Yeah. How does it affect cancellation flows?
Well,
And
my opinion is like if you are not planning to trick your users, it's not going to affect you. If you just, I mean, for cancellation flows, like people, when we talk about cancellation flows, some people think, oh, this is to trick users to keep their subscription instead of canceling, but that's not the case anymore. I feel like the cancellation flows are for you to understand why users are canceling them, and then just offering them some alternatives. And just like a fair and square, this is okay, this is how you can cancel your subscription. But if you like, we have all of these other options too. If you don't, if you not gonna trick or use any dark patterns or just make it like 200 steps for the users to cancel the subscription, I don't think you're gonna have kind of any problems.
yeah, sounds good. And last question from my side. So I consider always the cancellation flow and cancellation funnel as a separate funnel, yeah, similar to like the main funnel.
Yeah.
And so you can experiment a lot with this funnel as well. Iterating with the cancellation survey, the like win back campaigns, offers, and so on. And what do you think? What's the like main point for experiments? What's the focus on? And what's your best experiment that you did recently or like in your experience?
For the cancellation flow specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like one of the most kind of important things that the cancellation flows can give you is to understand why your users are canceling it. Like, so when user clicks on unsubscribe or cancel, you present them with a question like why you are canceling, right? And you need to kind of put your answer options in a way that is going to give you a context. If user clicks on too expensive or I don't want it or it's technical bugs, etc., that's not gonna give you context to understand what. Okay, too expensive. Everyone is gonna click is too expensive. You need to kind of play with the copywriting a bit and then have options for the user to choose that if they select it, they're gonna give you some context. Okay, like like just give an example like I found a better alternative which is cheaper, let's say, instead of like expensive, oh it's too expensive now, or I'm switching to say okay I found a better alternative which is cheaper, or I don't know, like I'm experiencing technical issues or etc etc etc, that's why I'm kind of canceling. You don't need to keep them like oh super long or something, just kind of a more contextual. And this is one of kind of experiments I did like some time ago. It's like we redesigned the question answers of this web cancellation flow, moved from like generic to more like contextual options to user to choose, and then retargeted these users after they canceled or something, because they canceled their subscription. That's good, I mean that's okay, they canceled it, but you still have their email, but they still use your product, so you still have an opportunity to follow up with these users. And if you have like contextual understanding why they canceled their subscription, you can tailor your follow-up messages or follow-up communication in a way that's gonna take this into account and offer them like something better. I think kind of that's one of kind of the key things that is like missing in most of the kind of cancellation flows.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, we don't have any more questions. I think we can wrap it up. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Vahe, for your presentation, for your experience that you shared with us. We will send all materials, the recording of these meetings and webinar and presentation in follow-up email. And if you have any questions, you can also send to emails, and we will cover it through email communication. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, and apologize for a small font size or something, but if you have any questions, you can follow up on LinkedIn or something. Just message me if you have anything, any pressing questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.